Have you ever seen those videos where they have the 10 things you have to have if you have an RV, 10 things you can't live without? I really like watching those, but there's an awful lot of them, and sometimes they look like they're walking through Walmart trying to find something to make a video about. Item number one that you can't do without if you're RVing. Well, I've got a few things that I find really useful, and I'd like to show you. Maybe you will too. Watch what happens when I walk into my camper. It's kind of like being on a ship at sea. It has to be stabilized. Let me get something first. Let's talk about stabilizing a small camper inexpensively and effectively. I've had all kinds of stabilizers for my camper. Remember, this camper isn't big, so this might not work for a really large camper. But I've had jacks on both sides. I've had jacks in the corners, and I've come across something that's fairly easy and quick and inexpensive. It starts with a level. This one has a little magnet on the bottom, by the way. And I got to get this down so that it is just a little bit above level. It's almost flat, but not quite. Then I've got these stabilizer stands. Now they sell them to go under the step, but they're very sturdy and they screw in and out from 7 to 14 inches. And they can work as stabilizers for your camper. Now this camper's 14 feet, so it's not a 25 footer or a 30 footer. So this may not work really good for some larger campers. Now the camper, as most campers, don't have a problem this way. Usually the jack's down on the front, and when you walk from front to back, they don't move. The problem is this way, where the wheels are and the suspension. So we need to stabilize it this way. So I'm going to take one of these stabilizer jacks, I'm going to put it right ahead of the wheel so that it's almost touching the frame. It just needs about 1/8 of an inch for it to get there, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. So now I have two of these jacks on. One in front of this wheel and one in front of the other wheel. And I'm going to lower this until my bubble is just about centered. So this stand is now tight under here, as is the one on the other side of the camper. And when I walk in, it's solid. The microwave makes a good holder for that. Now those stands cost about $14 a piece. I think I paid $12 for the original one. Easy to set up and easy to store. They just go right inside the door with the wheel chocks when I'm packing up the camper to move on. They're my choice for making a solid floor, and they work good. Maybe it's a solution for you too if you don't have anything set up for yours. I considered getting the ones that you mount and fold down. They're pretty expensive, and I have an aluminum frame, so I would have to drill into them to hook them on. Welding them I don't think would be much of an option. This works really good. The second thing I want to show you, and we've had this for a long time, so it does work, is this little unit. And there are a lot of different ones that now work like it. We bought this a few years ago. This unit we use with the TV. If you've got a television, particularly a small one, in your camper, usually the sound isn't great on them. And the thinner and the more modern and LED they get, the smaller the speakers are, and the speakers really don't sound good. This little unit has a plug that you can plug a television into, and it plays through the speaker, and it sounds pretty good for the size, pretty darn good. But it has other features too. Let me show you. This unit is called a sardine, and it has on the back, it has USB charging. It has a line in, that's what we connect the TV to, micro SD card slot, and thumb drive. So you can actually put music on here and play them. Controls. On off mode, so you can switch from playing things like the TV or the radio or one of the other things that you have plugged in back here. It has channel changers, and it's got up and down volume controls. So hold the button down, turn it on, and that's flashing, but it doesn't normally flash. That's the camera that's doing that. Hit the mode button. It sounds good. It has presets, so you can push these buttons and it'll do a complete search for stations wherever you are. So as you move around, just like when you're searching for television stations, it'll search for the best radio stations and it'll lock them in. So every time you hit one of these buttons, it'll move to the next one. Let me turn the volume down a little bit here. One nice thing about it too is if you connect the 3.5 millimeter jack here with a cord that you would normally connect another device to, it will act as an antenna. Now there's an antenna built in, it does pretty good. But if you have a station that's not coming in too good that you really want to hear, connect a wire to it, and it acts like an antenna and really improves the signal a lot. Sounds pretty good. Now they've got lots of these units now. At the time there weren't too many. So you might be able to find one that does the same thing, probably better. But this one we've had for years and it's still working and still going strong. And mainly we got it for the TV, but now we grab it, throw it out on the picnic table to get the news or some music sometime. I really don't put any music on the SD card or thumb drive because we use the phone. And the phone, which I'm recording on right now, this being Bluetooth also, the phone will connect to it, or anything else that's Bluetooth. Nice little device for, at the time, I think $25. Something else that we find very useful, and this is a more recent acquisition. It's a fan. Let me show you. This little fan is called Opolar, O-P-O-L-A-R. I left a lot of messages on forums and Facebook pages having to do with the cargo conversions, and thank you to anyone who recommended it. I had a couple of other fans, but they're basically, the little plastic fans that run on 12 volts are kind of like toys. They don't throw much air, or they're very flimsy. You can squash the plastic and they feel like they're going to break in your hand. This one is not like that. It does cost $39. I've seen it $45 some places, but directly from the company it's $39. And I did recently, as of today, order another one at 50% off, so it was 20 bucks. But what's nice about this fan? Well, first of all, it swivels this way, and it has this nice big clip that has a rubber interior to it. So it'll clip on almost anything, and it clips pretty hard. So you can clip it on a table, you can clip it on the back of a chair, you can clip it on the arm of a chair, you can clip it anywhere in your trailer where you have something that will open about, 2.5, 3 inches wide at the most, and it holds. Another thing that's nice about this fan is that it charges through a USB port. So you can plug it in someplace in your camper that has USB, or some adapter connected to 110 volts that has USB, USB charging. Now, this fan has 2 batteries in it, lithium-ion batteries. They're located in this box on the inside right here. And on the back, there is a button that if you push it, it will, I don't know if you can see the little light there, it's on low. Push it again, medium, push it again, and high. Now I have this right up against the microphone so you can hear it this close. On high, here it is about 4 feet away. We find that if we keep it on low, here's the microphone, it's really quiet. From about 4 feet away, it's almost silent. And if you look on the back, again, there's some little indicators here. I don't know if you see the lights on. We've used it a couple of nights, and it shows you if there's 100%, 60%, 100%, 60%, or 30% charge left in it. Reality is that on low, it'll last about 24 hours. On high, it'll go about 6 or 7 hours. I don't know what medium is, I haven't run it on that way yet. So even on high, it'll go most of your sleep night, but low is really fine. It moves the air really nicely. And you have a high, medium, and low setting, but if you hit the button again, what it does is it varies it. It'll go from high a while, and then it'll cut down to low, and then it'll ramp up. I haven't used that feature yet, but I guess some people like it. It's really well made. I'm expecting it to last a while. And it moves the air very nicely. We go to music festivals. I'll be able to take this and clip it to the arm of a chair. And the second one my wife will use. You can bring it outside at the campsite and you can use it there. It's just really, really nice. And I'm looking forward to having this. Now we do have a fantastic fan in the ceiling, but that's really more for evacuating the air. When you have it blow the air down, if you're right under it, you can feel it. But even on high, well, it makes quite a bit of noise, as those fans do. But even on high, it tends to circulate the air more than put air on you in one spot. And of course, you can't move it. So when we're sleeping here, it's nice to have the fan on us. And I mounted a bracket on the end of the cabinet to mount the fan to. So, Opolar Fan. I'm hoping that it will last. If it does, it's a pretty darn nice unit. Time for a small diversion here. A little thing that's made quite a bit of difference to us, but it's just a small thing. Cabinets. They tend to want to open up. These things really bounce, particularly over the wheels compared to the front. And no matter what you have, if it's not tied down, it's all over the place when you're done your trip, particularly if you hit some rough roads. Keeping cabinet doors closed. I've tried magnets, I've tried the little clips where they snap in. Some of them work good, some of them were marginal. Here's one that we found that works really good, and it's cheap and it's readily available. Let me show it to you. Push and lift. And for anybody who has had small children, you'll recognize this clip and its counterpart right there. when you close the cabinet, it snaps and hooks, and it'll keep the door closed. They're not expensive. They come in packages of like a dozen. And you can use them here. You can use them on drawers. The drawers are a little trickier in that if the drawer really pulls open hard when you like take off or stop, depending on which direction it's facing, it can break the clip. I mean, they're strong, but they're not that strong. So you have to use your judgment there. But cheap, easy to put up, effective solution for keeping things closed while you're traveling. For those of you trying to build a table that folds down, that holds the table solidly at a right angle to the wall and is very strong, I've used these in here, and I've also got some in the house for various applications. Take a look. These are brackets that have a clip right here that you push in, and when you do, it drops the table down. I've got them mounted to the walls. There's 2 of them. Each one supposedly holds 180 pounds. I've never tried it, but we've had stuff on this table and it really holds it up. I would imagine that you could hold up a table that isn't just long this way, but also comes out. These are 12-inch ones. They sell them right down to 8 inches that hold less weight, but still quite a bit for their size. And they really work good. They're stainless, and the mechanism works flawlessly. One clip. These were $12.95. Pretty inexpensive. The little ones are even cheaper. I wish I had more applications for them. I really like them. I'm sure many of you already know about this. This is a paper towel holder. And we used to have one that was just vertical paper towels on the counter. We'd have to put it down on the floor in the cupboard. It would be bounced all over the place. You used to have a regular paper towel holder. But what would happen is at the end of a trip, the whole roll of paper towels had unrolled onto the floor with the bouncing. We'd have to roll it back up. This one is different. It has these kind of like wires, springs on here, and when you slide the paper towel roll over, it's solid on here. Then, when you go to pull the paper towels off, listen. It has a ratcheting mechanism that provides friction so that when you're rolling around, the paper towels don't roll off onto the floor. I know a lot of you have this already, but for those of you who don't, it's definitely worth it. And the paper towels are on there ratcheted enough that you can reach in and tear one off without it coming off the roll. And while I'm here, a simple thing, any camper, it's great to have an indoor-outdoor thermometer. You got the time, you've got the temperature inside, you've got the temperature outside, so when you wake up in the morning, you can tell what your day is going to be like. And of course, if you're older like I am, you also need the date. But you never know what day it is when you're retired. Although, my iWatch does pretty good with it. And last but not least, it's the Luggable Loo. If you haven't heard about this, well, it's a pretty cool thing. Now, for those of you who have the minimalist elegance philosophy that we have, and if you haven't seen that, take a look at our previous videos. We don't have water, piped into our camper. We don't have a bathroom with a shower. We rely on campgrounds, and we found them all to be pretty good. But there comes a time in the middle of the night when maybe someone has to use the facilities right away.
Yes.
And if they're next door, that's great. But if they're 4 campsites down, that's not great.
I really appreciate that.
So, introducing the Luggable Loo. Now, all that this is, and it's made by Reliance. You can get them anywhere. Amazon, places where they sell camping supplies. And it's actually a toilet seat with a cover. The lid snaps down. The toilet seat snaps on to 5-gallon buckets. You put a trash bag on the inside. We like to use a double trash bag. And then you put, a lot of people use kitty litter. You can use sawdust, but you put a scoop or 2 in there. And you can leave it in the camper for, for the day or overnight, and you can throw it away later. Works pretty good, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think it would be really good to have something like this, because if we don't find a campground, we could use this as a place to do our business.
You mean like when we're boondocking?
Yes.
We have done that a few times. We had to stop for the night. Either it's at a Cracker Barrel or it's a national park drive-out area. So, now, you can choose the bucket you want. Gave you the choice, Lowe's or Home Depot. The Home Depot one was orange.
Yeah,
the Lowe's
I didn't like
one was
orange.
blue. So you chose?
I chose blue.
The blue. And if you get a bucket that has a wide set of rims on it like this, and you buy a second one, you slide it in, and it raises it up quite a bit and gets it a pretty good height. Now, I will admit that it is much better for women because it is not a huge toilet seat. And as you know, men, we have a little something else that needs to fit in here besides our butts. So it can be a little tricky that way. Here's the opening. But when you need it, particularly if you're a woman,
Yes. And I need it a lot.
it works good. Guys, get one of these for your wife.
Hey. But that's number 10, right?
That was number.
Oh,
I think
was
we
it
have
nine?
nine items now in here, which is enough, I guess.
To make
Everybody, when you watch the videos, they tend to. You see guys running through Walmart, or they're showing things that still have tags on them because they went out and just looked around the store and bought stuff so they can make a top 10 video out of it. But this is stuff that we've thought of for a long time, we've either had for a long time, or we've gotten recently and we really use. So, I showed them the fan,
Oh, yes.
and in fact, we're getting one for you too,
Oh.
because it was on sale.
Yep.
That's cool. So,
So,
is that enough?
yeah, I guess so.
Again, keep in mind that we don't sell any of this stuff.
No.
If you go by it or link to it, I'll try to put some links underneath. We don't make any money off from them. We just wanted to share them, that's all.
Yeah.
Signing off.
No.